What's up, guys? It's Brandon Flash. You're joining me in Charlotte, North Carolina, or more specifically, Matthews, North Carolina, at a Koulomb charging station with some Zerova hardware. I just want to show you guys around and see what's going on here. Hey guys, we're at the Chestnut Arbor shopping complex thing here. That's what it's called on the EV Connect app. On PlugShare, it's called Mario's Italian Restaurant. And we're at a brand new Koulomb charging station. And there's a lot of things going on here, both good and a bit strange. So let me just walk you through here. So I've got my Model Y charging on CCS. First of all, the layout's actually pretty darn good here. They have 4 stalls for 4 ports. And they have aisles in front of both of them, so pretty accessible. The connectors and everything are nice and low, so kudos to them for doing that well. Pretty impressed overall with that aspect. Bollards do interfere with the cables a bit. I think that's a bit unavoidable, unfortunately. We've already got some damage on the units here from the cable management system, from people, if they need to kind of drape it over, the cable will just rub on there and then damage the vinyl. We also have these labeled as Gun 1 and Gun 2, which is a bit strange. I don't know why you would use that terminology. Why not Cable 1, Cable 2, something like that? Clearly someone that's not an EV driver put those labels on, or they would probably not have used that terminology. So these are Zerova or Fihong chargers. So these are a cabinet-based system. So you have 4 ports, but you have 1 cabinet over there. They're up to 360 kilowatt. And it's just, there's a lot here. So we have 2 of the ports have Huber & Sooner liquid cooled 500 amp cables. So you have that there and there. And then on the right side of both of these units, so this side is a 300 amp air cooled cable. This is an Amphenol. You can see that there. That's also labeled as 360 kilowatts, which you would need 1200 volts to do 360 kilowatts, which is not possible because the output voltage range is up to 950 volts. So that math doesn't work. That should be labeled, I don't know, 240 kilowatts or something like that. Whatever, that's a minor detail. We also have 360 kilowatt labeled Chatamo, which is, again, not possible because Chatamo goes up to 500 volts, as you can see right there, and up to 200 amps. So that should be labeled up to 100 kilowatts, and that's a very theoretical max. On both of these, we also have emergency stops, but they did do a pretty interesting thing here. They put security seals on them. So that way it kind of hopefully stops people from using them, because in my opinion, emergency stops do not belong on public chargers, even though I'm pretty sure you could still press that through the cover if you really wanted to. So also not ideal there. We have a Pater credit card terminal. I tried using this one, but unfortunately this port is actually down. This site's been open for, I think, like a month-ish, something like that. And this cable's already down. I don't know why, but I couldn't activate it on the EV Connect app. I also couldn't activate it with the credit card reader, which it's entirely possible it's user error, but I don't think that's the case, or it's just a really terrible user experience. Also, these are not touchscreens, unless I'm missing something here, and the interface is really not that intuitive. I did figure out how to get into the service menu here. You can't really do anything with it, though. It also showed that they're using a wired connection, because they have the Wi-Fi and modems disabled. You can also see the local area connection icon up there. They also have branding on the back side of the chargers, which kind of makes sense if they're being used elsewhere and they're just using the same branding everywhere. So whatever on that front. Cable management system is strange. This is barely on there. This piece looks like it's about to fall out. This Chatamo appears to have not been used at all, would be my guess. There's no marking here. And I don't think you could use this and not mess up how that cable management system is set up. It looks like the cable management is sized properly for the Huber & Sooner cables. As you can see there, it's actually secured well. But they don't have it adjusted properly because there's still cable on the ground, because there should be more on the front side of that. Over here we have the 300 amp air-cooled cable, and this cable is just way too long for this cable management system. It's completely not effective at all. And you also have, this is all sorts of not correct. This one is also not adjusted correctly. You've still got cable on the ground, which is kind of strange. We are charging well. We've delivered 8 kilowatt. Oh, it's saying 8 kilowatt. Oh, I guess it just cuts off the H when it has too many characters. Okay then, or when there's too much space there. So we're getting 67 kilowatt at 60%. I wasn't that empty when I got here. Yeah, not a great display there, but again, you can see not a touchscreen. This unit doesn't have a payment terminal, which is also a bit strange. I do like these cable docks because they have this rounded edge here, so that way you can more easily guide it in there without having to be exactly precise. Let's go over to the equipment here. So here we have the charging cabinet. So you can see 360 kilowatt max output, 500 amps. So I believe that's 500 amps total. So if you have 4 cars here, it's actually only going to be 90 kilowatts per port, up to 500 amps total, which really is not that much, actually. I think that should be a lot higher, unless that's 500 amps per output, but I don't know how many outputs it can do or what the total amperage output is. You can see also the input rating, so it's up to 573 amps input on AC. Most likely it's on a 600 amp branch circuit, but relatively compact cabinet actually. Kind of a fan of that. Here we have what they call the Pure Power Solar Sentry. So Koulomb is actually a subsidiary of Pure Power Contractors, which is a solar contracting company local to Charlotte. And it looks like they're using some of their security system that they use for their solar systems as well. A little weird that they have a solar panel on there, but I guess for redundancy, just to see if everything's good, even if the power goes out, which is kind of smart actually. Looks like they have an antenna for their cellular system, and they have a camera up there as well. So pretty well done on the security front. Looks like they have a light there. I don't know how bright it is, so that would be good at night, hopefully. Here we have their switchgear, relatively compact, nice and small footprint from Epic Solutions. They make a lot of solar stuff. Looks like over here they have a small low voltage section, so 12240, because this is a small step down transformer, 0.75 kVA, so 750 watts roughly. Most likely going into here unless there's something else in here, but hard to tell without labels or without having them open. And over here we have the utility transformer. This is a 300 kVA unit. You can see right here, right there. And this is with Union Power Co-op, so that's probably why they picked this location, would be my guess, was for transformer availability, or if they have some other connection to this site. Because otherwise this site really doesn't make a whole lot of sense in my opinion. It's really not that close off the interstate. And there's really not much here for EV drivers. I guess Subway is probably the closest thing that would make sense for fast charging. Otherwise you've got a dentistry office, an animal hospital, a Mario's Italian restaurant, which looks like a sit-down restaurant, and you have another restaurant there. Do have some multifamily over there. Not sure if they offer charging for residents, but potentially they could use it. But this is 45 cents a kilowatt hour, which is a little bit on the pricier side for DC fast charging, but actually less than Electrify America's rack rate these days, if I remember correctly. I believe that's 46 or 48 cents a kilowatt hour. So I guess in that scheme of things, it's pretty reasonable. But the closest Tesla supercharger site is actually 28 cents a kilowatt hour at their peak rate. So if you drive a Tesla, using this probably doesn't make sense unless you just really like this location for some reason. But overall, I think this is a pretty good install. Definitely some small things that need to improve. Obviously, they need to fix the one cable that's down. But, I mean, it's been live not that long. It's a new company, so I'll give them a little bit of slack in that regard. Yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. If you have any questions, comment down below. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you on the next one.